Hello fellow Nom Noms! For this week's video, we will be making an Utaru dish called Oldgrowth Gruel from the video game Horizon Forbidden West. For more on the Utaru tribe, I did a video and you can watch it right here. The video game describes this dish as boiled broth with beans and meat. To replicate this dish, we'll be making a navy bean and beef soup. Let's dig in. Before we start cooking, I want to actually take a look and see how easy it is to get this in the game and whether or not the dish actually does anything. Alrighty, so you get this dish by going to Plainsong and running a mile to go find the cook. For real, we are going to run and run and run and still run and still run. Okay, he's right there. Once you find the cook, you should see a dish called Oldgrowth Gruel, and you'll see that it needs 5 wild meat and 3 wild beans. Now, you should absolutely have these on you already. They're like everywhere, but let's say, for argument's sake, well really for the video's sake, that you don't have them. So we're gonna make this an active quest. The good news is they are very close by if you don't have them. So the wild meat's right over here and the beans are right over yonder. So let's go get some meat. Now the reason you should already have wild meat is because you can like get it from anything. So I just tagged a raccoon, we're gonna get it from that raccoon. We're also gonna get it from that fox. And oh yes, we will also get it from this boar. Literally all the animals have it. By this point in the game, you should have plenty. Okay, so now we're gonna go get the beans. Those are wild beans right there. They look quite beany. So again, they're just hanging out on the side of the road. Like literally look here, it's right across the side of the street. Easy, easy. Now it's back to the cook to get our Oldgrowth Gruel on. Buy that baby. Eating this dish should boost my Resonator Blast by 3 levels, right? So I'm expecting to see a significant increase in the damage that I deal. Now you'll see that I am running to go fight a big bad machine with my spear all charged up. I have not eaten the Oldgrowth Gruel yet, so wham, bam. Okay, let's pause. How much damage did I do? It's looking like I did maybe a 4th damage with that Resonator Blast. So that's gonna be our base, what we're gonna compare the Oldgrowth Gruel to. So if we can beat that 1/4, hopefully by a lot. So, all right, let's see what happens. Okay, here I am again. I've got my spear all charged up. I just ate my Oldgrowth Gruel. I'm running to go fight the same set of monsters. Machines. Wham! Kablam! All right, let's see how much damage I did this time. Oh my gosh. Do you see that? I think I did less damage, if that's possible. Maybe my first shot had, I don't even know. I think I shot them both in the legs. I don't know why this would do less. Yeah, I'm gonna say that this dish kind of sucks. All right, so maybe the addition to the game is a little bit disappointing. I promise you that the dish that we're about to make just now is gonna be worth it. We are going to start with 16 ounces of dry navy beans that I've had soaking for 3 hours. And to that, we're going to add 8 cups of bean broth. Just pour that right on in. You'll want to make sure you really wash your beans. My beans actually had some dirt in it, so that was gross. And you obviously don't really want to eat that or cook with it. After we're done adding our broth, we're going to move it all to the back burner and bring it up to a simmer. While we do that, in a separate pan, we are going to heat up some olive oil. You're looking for about a tablespoon of olive oil. You're going to want to heat that over medium-high heat. And once it is warm, we're going to add our chuck roast to the pan. I've got a pound of chuck roast right here, and I've cubed it so that it's nice and bite-sized when we're actually eating the stew. So we're just going to spread that across in a nice little even layer there, and the goal is to let it all brown before we put it into the stew. And that's going to take us about 10 minutes. You don't want to stir too often, you just want to kind of gradually flip it around so that all the sides are mostly brown. Once the beef is mostly browned on the outside, we're going to move it into our stew. You're going to want to use a slotted spoon for this so that you don't actually pick up any of that excess grease. I don't like to have that in my soup. All right, so in that goes. All right, so you're gonna dispose of the grease in the pan and also wipe down the pan because we're gonna use it again. Next, we add 2 large onions diced and 2 stalks of celery diced. So those go in there, and we are just gonna cook those until they're tender. You want them to be kind of soft. So that's about another 8 to 10 minutes. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil too to kind of keep things moist in there. Once the onion and celery are tender, we're just gonna dump it straight into our soup. So into the soup it goes. Oops, it looks like a piece of celery got away from me. Once we have the beef and the onions and the celery in our soup, all we need to do is add the final seasonings. So you're gonna add 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of salt, a half teaspoon of pepper, and 1 bay leaf. Once you've added the seasoning, you're going to cover the soup and cook it for about 30 minutes or until the beans are very tender and the soup has thickened a little bit. All right, now it is time to give it a taste. Oh, let's try the broth. The broth is really good. The smoked paprika in there gives it that smoky flavor without needing to add anything like bacon, so that's really tasty. Of course, you could always just add bacon, but the beans are good. Definitely worth soaking them. It's made them nice and tender. Let's try a little piece of meat. I know the utaros are vegetarians, but this is really, really good. We will be cooking up another utaru dish next week, so be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that you don't miss it. See you next week when we dig into Land God's Gift.